Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be discussing why Australia should not be purchasing the B-21 Raider. This is a bit of a debate that's kind of emerged within the Australian defence community recently, especially since there's been so many perceived problems with AUKUS. It's unlikely that we will get the Virginia-class submarines and of course the SSN AUKUS-class submarines within a reasonable timeframe, which has led to a lot of people advocating that we should be able to get the B-21 Raider instead. Now, this is a merit-based argument that misses a couple of key points. Now, the problem is that the B-21 Raider is a very good aircraft. It's a stealth bomber. It's capable of going about 2,000-3,000 kilometers without refueling. It's capable of carrying a very powerful payload, and since it is stealth, it is very difficult to detect. With that all in mind, it often offers a really strong capability, or at least on paper. The problem is that realistically though, the B-21 isn't enough. It's not going to be delivered in a serious time, and it will cost a huge amount of money. The B-21 Raider costs around, in 2022, $692 million per asset. If Australia were to purchase a reasonably sized fleet of, let's say, 25, that would cost $17.3 billion just to purchase 25 of these aircraft, not including upkeep and, of course, maintenance, which would be quite intensive on such an airframe. Additionally, America intends to replace their current fleet of 20 B-2 stealth aircraft with 100 B-21s. However, there are some serious issues. For instance, there are only two B-2s projected to be in existence by the end of this year. One stealth aircraft is in operational capacity, and the other is still on the factory floor. However, there are estimates that, assuming America reaches full production capacity, they would be able to produce about 7 or so each year. This means that it would take Australia, because America would prioritise itself first, about 14 years before we were to get our first B-21. Additionally, for the full fleet to be delivered, it would likely take even longer than that. And this leads to the whole problem with this idea. The issue is, this is the same problem we have with AUKUS. What we've done with AUKUS is we want this capability because it's really strong, it's really good. And we sat down and we went, okay, America, we want to buy your Virginia-class nuclear submarines. And America sat down and said, absolutely, sure, we'll sell them to you. We'll let you buy them. The issue is for Australia, though, is that America is at a point where they're trying to expand their military capability, and they're trying to counter China, a more aggressive Russia, a very unstable Middle East, amongst various other situations. So America is sitting down and going, well, we have to prioritize ourselves here, and this means that Australia may not be able to get the nuclear submarines that have been purchased or promised. And this is where the whole issue lies. The big problem is that Australia is not likely going to get the B-21 until the late 2030s, about 2039, assuming it takes the 14 years to get our first one. However, it would take even longer than that to get a proper fleet of 25, or a larger fleet, which means that it could be well and truly into the 2040s by the time we actually get a serious number of B-21s that could actually hold an adversary at risk. In the meantime, this will still cost us $17.3 billion, which is a massive amount of money that could be prioritized or allocated in other areas. And this is where these problems really start to come home. The issue is Australia right now needs deterrence and capability now. We need capability in the near future, in the next 5 or so years, not in the next 15 or 20. And the problem that we're having right now is that we're starting to realize that we've spent and we put all of our eggs into a few baskets where we have now got, where someone's just come along, jumped on half of them, and we're now realizing that these baskets are going to deliver in a very long time with very little efficiency at extremely high cost. And this is the whole problem with the B-21. The issue is, if we keep this up, what we're doing is we're putting all of our eggs into the America basket. We've put all of our hopes into America having the capability to deliver these assets in time for us to use them in some conflict. when in reality, we may not get them in time for conflict, and we might get them several years after the war has ended at this current rate of production. And this leads to even more problems. So what should Australia be doing in the meantime? Obviously, long-range strike capability is very important. It is something that really needs to be considered, and it needs to be something that we invest into. However, it doesn't necessarily need to be the B-21. And I have talked about this in one of my other videos, where the thing is, we have aircraft that are compatible with multi-use assets. For instance, the long-range anti-ship missile. This is being integrated by America into the P-8 Poseidon. The LRASM has a range of about 250 nautical miles, along with the capability to hit both land-based targets and sea-based targets. This makes sense that Australia could theoretically get the P-8 Poseidon and modify it so we can carry 4 LRASMs. This would mean that we'd be able to first of all target enemy shipping with this asset, but we'd also be able to use it as a strategic bomber, which would offer us a very strong capability. Additionally, Australia already has a pre-existing fleet of P-8 Poseidons, and our closest allies, New Zealand and America, also operate them as well. This means that there is a real use case for potentially using the P-8 Poseidon as a multi-role aircraft, not only as a sub-hunter or potential anti-ship asset, but also as a long-range strike bomber. The P-8 Poseidon has the range, and it has a weapon system that on board that can carry 4 of, that can strike 250 nautical miles, which is an impressive capability. Additionally, we could step up by investing into the Strike Master, along with long-range missiles that could be equipped with it, and varying other systems, potentially even along the lines of the Typhoon missile launch system, which is capable of firing land-based Tomahawk missiles. These capabilities would be much more useful and likely be delivered in a much shorter time span than the B-21 Raider, whilst also providing a serious capability boost and a very similar ability to use on the front lines. Additionally, it's likely going to be a lot cheaper, so you won't have to worry about as many of the issues that you would with the B-21 Raider. That's all I've really got for now, but I hope you all have enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, a subscription. It greatly helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. I thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you so very much. Goodbye.